By day 4, I stopped recognizing my own bathroom, not because it looked different, because it felt different. The surfaces had the same tiles, the same fixtures, the same morning light coming through the same frosted window. But something had shifted in the quality of the air inside that room. A stillness that had not been there before, a sense that the space was resting rather than waiting to be dealt with. I am Keiko Nakamura. I am 72 years old, and I spent 1 week applying 15 Japanese cleaning habits I had never fully practiced in my own home, despite having grown up surrounded by their underlying philosophy. I knew the theory, I had not been living the practice. What happened when I actually did surprised me considerably. These 15 habits are completely distinct from anything I have shared previously. No repeated concepts, no familiar frameworks. This is new territory, and we are moving through it quickly. Habit 1: clean the underside. Every surface has a visible face and a hidden underside. Western cleaning addresses the visible face almost exclusively. Japanese cleaning addresses both with equal seriousness. The underside of your kitchen shelves, the bottom edge of your cabinet doors, the base of your toilet, not just the bowl and the seat, but where the porcelain meets the floor, the underside of your microwave, where grease accumulates invisibly for years, the back face of your light switches. I spent the first morning of my experiment cleaning only undersides and back faces of surfaces I normally clean from the front. The amount of accumulated grime I found on surfaces I had believed were clean was genuinely startling. A shelf I wiped weekly had a thick film of grease on its underside that I had never once touched in years of regular cleaning. The reason this habit matters beyond the obvious hygiene benefit is that hidden grime eventually migrates. It develops odors that permeate rooms without identifiable source. It becomes visible from certain angles at certain times of day, creating a persistent sense that a room is not quite clean even immediately after cleaning. Addressing undersides eliminates this phenomenon entirely. Habit 2: the squeegee wall. Japanese bathrooms, particularly in homes built in the last several decades, are designed as entirely waterproof rooms that can be hosed down completely. The walls, floor, ceiling, all sealed and drainable. This design allows a habit that prevents the single largest source of bathroom cleaning labor in most homes: the shower squeegee. After every shower, every wall surface that received water contact is squeegeed completely dry. Every surface. The entire practice takes approximately 90 seconds. The result is that soap scum, mineral deposits, and mold have no moisture environment in which to establish themselves. The shower and bath walls remain clean between deep cleaning sessions, not because they are cleaned more frequently, but because the conditions for buildup are removed after every single use. I installed a simple squeegee hook inside my shower on day 1. By day 7, the habit had become completely automatic. More significantly, the shower walls looked visibly cleaner on day 7 than they had at the start of the experiment, despite receiving no scrubbing during the week. The squeegee had maintained cleanliness that regular cleaning had been failing to achieve. Habit 3: hot water as a primary cleaning agent. Japanese home cleaning relies on very hot water as a primary cleaning agent to a degree that Western cleaning practice does not. Before any cleaning product is applied to any surface, the surface is first exposed to water as hot as is safely possible for that surface type. Hot water alone dissolves and lifts grease, loosens mineral deposits, and kills a significant percentage of bacteria present on most household surfaces. The cleaning products applied afterward work against a surface already substantially decontaminated by heat, making them dramatically more effective at far lower concentrations. I changed my cleaning sequence during this experiment to begin every surface cleaning task with a hot water treatment. A cloth wrung out in the hottest water my tap produces, applied to the surface, and allowed to sit for 30 seconds before wiping. On kitchen surfaces particularly, the difference in what came away on the first wipe was immediately visible. The subsequent product application required less product and less physical scrubbing to achieve equivalent results. This is not a small efficiency gain. Across a week of regular cleaning tasks, I estimated I used approximately 40% less cleaning product than my normal consumption. The surfaces were equally clean. The chemistry simply worked better against a thermally pre-treated surface. Habit 4. The toothbrush audit. Every Japanese household I have observed closely maintains a collection of retired toothbrushes specifically designated for cleaning, not decorative collection, functional deployment. These soft bristled tools reach cleaning locations that no cloth, sponge, or standard brush can access efficiently. The grout lines between bathroom tiles, the crevice where the faucet base meets the sink basin, the channel around the drain cover, the hinge mechanisms of cabinet doors, the track in which sliding doors or windows move, the base of taps and handles where mineral scale accumulates in narrow bands. I designated 4 retired toothbrushes to specific cleaning zones in my home during this experiment. 1 for bathroom grout, 1 for kitchen crevices, 1 for drain areas, 1 for window and door tracks. I used each in its designated zone during my daily cleaning session. What I removed from these locations over 7 days was, bluntly, embarrassing. Not because I am careless about cleaning, because these locations are physically inaccessible to standard cleaning tools and therefore had not been properly addressed, regardless of how regularly I cleaned the surrounding surfaces. The grout in my bathroom, which I had believed was simply discolored with age, turned out to be clean tile beneath accumulated grime. The track of my kitchen window, cleaned for the first time in memory, yielded enough debris to make me unwilling to describe it in detail. Habit 5. Descaling on schedule. Water hardness is a cleaning variable that most people address reactively, meaning they descale kettles, shower heads, and faucets when visible scale buildup has become severe enough to notice. Japanese cleaning practice schedules descaling preventively at fixed intervals before buildup becomes visible. The distinction matters practically. Light mineral deposits dissolve with minimal effort and basic descaling agents. Heavy established scale requires extended treatment, stronger agents, and often mechanical scrubbing that risks surface damage. Preventing heavy buildup through scheduled light descaling requires less total time, less total product, and less physical effort than periodic heavy descaling, while producing continuously superior results. I established a weekly 15-minute descaling routine during this experiment. Kettle, shower head, and bathroom faucets received a light white vinegar treatment each week on the same day. By the end of the week, all 3 showed no new scale development whatsoever. The shower head, which had developed noticeable flow restriction from mineral buildup before the experiment, showed measurably improved water pressure after a single light treatment. Habit 6. The newspaper glass method. This is one of those Japanese cleaning habits that seems too simple to be worth mentioning until you compare its results to any alternative method for cleaning glass. Crumpled newspaper, slightly dampened, cleans glass surfaces, including windows, mirrors, and glass tabletops with 0 streaking. The paper fibers are finer and more uniform than cloth fibers, leaving no lint and creating no static charge that attracts immediate dust resettlement. The slight ink residue in newsprint acts as a mild cleaning agent that cuts through the fingerprint oils and atmospheric film that coat glass surfaces. I cleaned every glass surface in my home using this method on day 2 of the experiment. My bathroom mirror, which I clean regularly and which always retains some degree of streaking or cloudiness, was clearer using this method than I had ever seen it using any cloth or paper towel. My kitchen window, which faces a direction that accumulates condensation, had no streaking or residue after treatment. The total cost of this method is zero, assuming you have any newspaper available, which in the age of digital news means deliberately obtaining physical newspaper specifically for this purpose. A single newspaper provides enough cleaning material for every glass surface in a typical home many times over. Habit 7. Floor Wiping Direction Protocol. Japanese floor cleaning, whether of hardwood, tile, or tatami, follows a specific directional protocol that most Western floor cleaning ignores entirely. Cleaning always proceeds from the room's far corners toward the exit in overlapping parallel passes, ensuring that no clean area is recrossed by the cleaner's movement during the cleaning process. This sounds like excessive precision until you consider what happens when floor cleaning ignores direction. You clean an area and then walk across it to reach another area, redistributing what you have just cleaned and tracking in material from unclean areas. The floor is never actually fully clean at any single moment during the process because your movement continuously contaminates cleaned zones. Following the direction protocol means every completed section stays completed. The floor exits the cleaning process in a genuinely clean state rather than a somewhat clean state with cross-contamination patterns from random movement. I implemented this protocol on day 3. My floors required fewer passes to reach the same cleanliness standard than my usual random direction mopping. The total time spent mopping my kitchen and bathroom floors decreased by approximately 8 minutes, while producing a more uniform result. Habit 8. The refrigerator weekly zone. Japanese home management typically includes a weekly refrigerator zone rotation, a habit that prevents the buildup of spills, odors, and forgotten items that characterizes refrigerators treated as passive storage rather than active managed space. The refrigerator is divided into zones. Each week, one zone receives complete attention. Everything removed, surfaces wiped with a hot, damp cloth followed by a light baking soda treatment. Contents assessed for freshness before return. The following week, the next zone. By the end of the month, every zone has been addressed once, without the process ever requiring more than approximately 10 focused minutes per week. This prevents the quarterly refrigerator cleaning ordeal that most people dread and therefore defer, during which the accumulated neglect of 3 months must be addressed in a single exhausting session. Weekly zone maintenance eliminates the conditions that make quarterly cleaning necessary. I implemented zone rotation on day 1 of the experiment. I divided my refrigerator into 4 zones: top shelf, middle shelf, bottom shelf, and vegetable drawers, and door storage. Each day I addressed one zone. By day 4, every zone had been addressed once. The refrigerator maintained a cleanliness level throughout the week that it had not previously achieved even immediately after a full quarterly clean. Habit 9. Tatami principles applied to any floor. Traditional Japanese tatami care involves specific practices that translate powerfully to the care of any floor surface, including the Western floors of hardwood, tile, or carpet that most readers actually have. The core tatami principle is that floors are cleaned with the grain of the material, that liquid is never applied in excess, that floors are allowed to dry fully before foot traffic resumes, and that protective treatment is applied preventively rather than reactively. These 4 principles, applied to any floor type, produce measurably better results and longer surface life than standard Western floor care. Cleaning with the grain of any textured surface, whether wood grain, tile grout lines, or carpet fiber direction, lifts dirt from within the texture rather than pushing it laterally along the surface. Limiting liquid application prevents moisture from penetrating below the surface layer, where it causes swelling, warping, mold, and adhesive failure. Allowing full drying prevents resoiling from damp foot traffic immediately after cleaning. Preventive surface treatment maintains protective coatings before they fail rather than after. I applied these 4 principles to my hardwood kitchen floor during the experiment. The result after a single week was a floor surface that felt different underfoot, less sticky in the subtle way that under-maintained hardwood develops, more uniform in its reflectivity, and the cleaning itself was notably less effortful because I was lifting dirt out of the wood grain rather than smearing it along the surface. Habit 10. The entrance power. Clean. In Japanese homes, the Genkan entrance area receives disproportionate cleaning attention relative to its size. This is not merely cultural tradition, it reflects a practical understanding that the entrance is the contamination boundary of the home, the location where all outdoor material either enters or is stopped. A thoroughly and frequently cleaned entrance area functions as an active barrier rather than a passive threshold. When the entrance is clean, the contamination load entering the rest of the home is dramatically lower. Dust, pollen, microorganisms, and outdoor debris stopped at the entrance rather than distributed throughout the home by foot traffic. I gave my entrance area what I can only describe as surgical cleaning attention on day 1. Baseboards, door frame crevices, the floor beneath the shoe rack, the doormat treated and thoroughly shaken, the door threshold channel, the inside face of the front door including its lower panels. The process took 25 minutes for a space approximately 4 feet square. For the remainder of the week, I cleaned this space briefly but daily. Each cleaning took under 3 minutes because the initial thorough cleaning had established a cleanliness baseline that brief daily maintenance easily sustained, and my floors inside the home required measurably less cleaning throughout the week. The entrance was functioning as the barrier it is meant to be. Habit 11. Muslin cloth. Hierarchy. Japanese cleaning cloth systems use different cloth materials for different surface types, with each cloth designated strictly to its surface type and never used elsewhere. This cloth hierarchy prevents cross-contamination between surfaces and ensures that the correct material is always applied to each surface type. The most important distinction in this hierarchy is between the cloth used on food contact surfaces and the cloth used on non-food surfaces. In Japanese homes, these are never the same cloth, never stored together, and often visually differentiated through color. A cloth that has touched a floor, however clean that floor may be, does not subsequently touch a food preparation surface under any circumstances. A secondary important distinction is between cloths used on glass and mirror surfaces and cloths used on other surfaces. Glass requires a lint-free material that leaves no fiber residue. Using a general-purpose cloth on glass and then wondering why it streaks is a cleaning error so common it has become normalized. It is simply the wrong material for the surface. I established a 5-cloth hierarchy during the experiment. Dedicated cloths for food surfaces, non-food kitchen surfaces, bathroom surfaces, glass surfaces, and floor surfaces. Each lived in a designated location and was laundered on its own schedule. The cross-contamination that my previous single-cloth does-all approach had been producing invisibly was eliminated immediately, and the glass surfaces in particular improved dramatically the moment a dedicated lint-free cloth was applied to them exclusively. Habit 12. The drain maintenance ritual. Japanese bathroom and kitchen drain maintenance is approached as a regular, scheduled ritual rather than an emergency response to blockage or odor. This distinction produces drains that never develop the smell or the slow drainage that characterize neglected drains in most Western homes. The ritual has 3 components. First, a physical trap emptied and rinsed at every cleaning session. Second, a weekly hot water flush. 2 full kettles of boiling water poured slowly directly down each drain, which dissolves accumulated soap and grease deposits before they solidify into blockages. Third, a monthly enzymatic treatment, a small amount of enzyme-based drain cleaner that digests organic matter and prevents the microbial growth responsible for drain odor. I implemented this 3-component ritual during the experiment. By day 7, my kitchen drain, which had developed a persistent odor that no amount of cleaning spray had fully eliminated, was genuinely odorless. Not masked. Odorless. The weekly hot water flush had dissolved the grease accumulation from which the odor was originating, and the enzymatic treatment had addressed the microbial component. The total time commitment of this ritual across the week was approximately 12 minutes. The result was a permanent resolution of a problem that spray-based reactive treatment had been managing inadequately for months. Habit 13. Window frame priority. Windows are cleaned in a specific sequence in Japanese homes that most Western window cleaning reverses. The frame and sill are cleaned first, thoroughly and completely, before the glass is touched. The glass is always cleaned last. The logic is simple and irrefutable. If you clean the glass first and then clean the frame debris falls onto and recontaminates the glass you have just cleaned. If you clean the frame first, the subsequent glass cleaning addresses a surface whose surroundings are already clean, producing a result that stays clean. This sequencing error, cleaning glass before frame, is nearly universal in my observation of Western cleaning practice. It explains why windows that have just been cleaned often look slightly worse than expected. They have been recontaminated by frame cleaning performed in the wrong order. I applied correct window cleaning sequence to every window in my home on day 5 of the experiment. Frame, track, sill, and seal all addressed first. Glass cleaned last, using the newspaper method from Habit 6. Every window in my home achieved a cleanliness standard I had not previously managed, simply by correcting the sequence of an activity I had been performing regularly for decades. Habit 14. Tatami-inspired air management. Japanese homes manage indoor air quality as an active cleaning practice, not a passive background condition. Windows are opened at specific times, in specific combinations, to create deliberate cross-ventilation that removes indoor pollutants, moisture, and odors more effectively than any air freshening product. The most effective ventilation pattern opens windows on opposite sides of the home simultaneously to create a through draft rather than simply admitting outdoor air from a single point. Morning ventilation, before outdoor air quality deteriorates with daytime traffic and heat, removes the accumulated overnight metabolic gases, cooking residues, and moisture that characterize indoor air in a closed home. I implemented a structured morning ventilation routine during the experiment. Opposite windows opened for 15 minutes each morning during the first hour after waking. The effect on indoor air quality was immediately perceptible and grew more pronounced across the week. By day 7, rooms that had previously held the slightly stale quality characteristic of closed living spaces had a freshness that I had not previously achieved through any cleaning product, diffuser, or air purifier. This costs nothing. It requires no product. It is 15 minutes of open windows in the correct configuration. The results are more effective than any commercial air treatment I have used. Habit 15, the completion acknowledgement. The 15th habit is the one that surprised me most deeply and that I was least prepared to take seriously when I first encountered it. In Japanese cleaning practice, completing a cleaning task is followed by a brief moment of acknowledgement of the completed work. Not performance, not self-congratulation. A quiet moment of standing in the cleaned space, observing what has been done, and allowing the satisfaction of completion to register consciously before moving to the next task. This practice exists because it serves a neurological function. The brain's reward circuitry responds to consciously acknowledged completion with a dopamine release that reinforces the behavior just performed. Rushing from one cleaning task to the next without acknowledgement, which is how most Western cleaning is conducted, denies the brain this reinforcement signal. The behavior receives no chemical reward. It remains effortful and motivation dependent indefinitely. When completion is acknowledged, even briefly, the brain begins associating the cleaning behavior with positive neurological reward. Over time, the behavior becomes intrinsically motivating rather than requiring external pressure or discipline to initiate. I practice this acknowledgement after every cleaning task during the week. 30 seconds of standing in the cleaned space, looking at what had been done, allowing the satisfaction to be consciously felt before moving on. By day 7, I noticed I was initiating cleaning tasks with measurably less internal resistance than at the start of the week. The tasks had begun to carry their own motivation, not because I had transformed my personality or discovered hidden enthusiasm for cleaning, because I had been consistently delivering the neurological reward signal that makes any repeated behavior self-reinforcing. What a week revealed. 7 days, 15 habits. The outcome was not a cleaner home, though the home was measurably, visibly cleaner in ways that photographs would document clearly. The outcome that shocked me was the relationship between the cleaning and the cleaner. Cleaning had always been a maintenance obligation, something the home demanded and I supplied. By the end of this week, it had become something else. A daily practice with its own internal logic, its own sensory satisfactions, its own quiet rewards. The home and I were no longer in an adversarial negotiation about how much effort I owed it. That shift was what I was not ready for, not a transformed house, a transformed relationship with the act of maintaining one. That, it turns out, is what Japanese cleaning has always been about, not the dust. The relationship with the space you inhabit. These 15 habits are simply the practical grammar of that relationship. They are available to you, one habit at a time, beginning with whichever one your home currently needs most.